Hey folks, Todd here. Today we're going to install the Voyager top from Rugged Ridge on a Jeep Gladiator. The tools we'll be using for this installation are an electric drill with a Phillips head screwdriver, an electric impact driver with a T40 Torx bit, and a provided 3mm Allen wrench. Now make sure you're subscribed to our channel to stay up to date with our latest content. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, starting off, we want to make sure that the factory top is removed from the vehicle and any door surrounds are also removed. Now this is the driver's side door surround for the Voyager top. I've already got that set out and spread apart. We're going to go over each individual piece as we put everything together. I do want to let you know that all of the door surround components are going to be in individual bags labeled L for left. On the passenger side, they'll be labeled R for right. Except for these brackets. These brackets are going to be labeled F for front and R for rear. Now your rear brackets, they're the exact same bracket. Obviously they work for the driver's side and the passenger side. Same with the front brackets, they work for driver's side and passenger side, but these two brackets are different. The difference is if I hold them up, the front bracket doesn't come in as far. The rear bracket on that front window is going to come in further. So let's go ahead and assemble this together. All right, this is the bar on the door surround that's going to go over top of the driver's side front door. Now you'll notice we've got some Velcro on this portion right here. When I rotate this down, you'll notice we've got 3 holes here, we've got 3 holes here. Now on the top of both of these brackets, we've also got 3 holes. What we're going to do is slide this bracket here to line up with these 3 holes, and this bracket is going to slide in and line up with these 3 holes. Next, what we're also going to do is take this piece up at the front, and that's going to slide in as well. And we're going to take some of our self-tapping screws and put 3 screws through here, join the holes together. And then there's also 2 holes in the bottom. We're going to be putting some self-tapping screws through those. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm just getting these screws started for right now. I'll come back later and tighten them up after I've got everything lined up first on each bracket. All right, let's go ahead and set the second bracket. All right, next, this is the composite piece that joins the front and rear bars. What we're going to do is slide that into the front bar. That will also kind of continue the Velcro back. And next we're going to take one screw and just screw through the top right here. Okay, now here is the bar that goes over top of the rear door on the driver's side. When I rotate this down, you'll notice I've got the one hole here that's going to attach to the connecting piece, 3 holes here that go to one bracket. Over here we got 3 more holes for the second bracket back, and then we've got another hole that goes to the rear piece. So I'm going to go ahead and set the brackets in place. I'm going to slide on the connecting piece. I'm going to go ahead and put the screw through the rear bar, holding it to the connecting piece. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and do the first rear bracket. Get the screws started on the bottom. All right, let's go ahead and move to the rear. Okay, now before I attach this last bracket, what I'm going to do is take our corner piece for the rear and we're going to slide that in. That's going to rotate around like so. And we want to go ahead and connect this piece first. So we're going to go ahead and put a screw into it. Now we can go ahead and set this bracket in place. Okay, here's where it's important to make sure you're starting all the screws first, because when I go through this one, I'm not just going through this hole here, but I'm also actually going into the composite connecting piece at the back. So let's go ahead and put a screw through there. Okay, now that we're at the part that goes down vertical to the tub of the Jeep, let me go ahead and flip this upside down so you can see what's going on. So right back here, you can see you've got a large hole and you've got a kind of a rectangular piece that's coming out of here. This part is going to slide right over top of the rectangular piece, and you'll notice you'll have a hole right here that's actually already got some threads in there. You're going to have a thumb screw, looks just like that. It's going to thread into that hole. Tighten that down, get it nice and snug. All right, now let's go to the other end. Okay, now so since this is upside down, this is actually the bottom. You're gonna notice we've got a smaller hole on this side. Also, I'm gonna point out this is gonna be facing to the inside of the Jeep. What we wanna do is take the bottom piece. This is going to slide in like so. This part also needs to be facing to the inside of the Jeep. And then we're gonna take our last screw and put it through this hole up here. All right, let's go ahead and take it over to the Jeep. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set this bottom piece right onto the tub of Gladiator, and it's going to fit right into the profile on this gasket. And we're going to notice that these brackets are going to line up to some cutouts that are in our sport bar. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start lining those up to those brackets. We're not going to push them on all the way just yet. Once we get this kind of rested over top of our B-pillar, we're going to go up top to mount our mounting plate. Okay, so now here is our driver's side mounting plate. You're going to notice we've got a couple of pegs coming through over here. We've also got a couple of holes here that are going to line up to these holes. This is also going to line up to this hole, and our bracket is going to line up to this hole. This bracket is going to slide over and line up to this hole and this hole here. So what we're going to do is set this in place like so. And we're going to go ahead and pull this over, and this needs to go over top, but these brackets need to go underneath the mounting plate. So we're going to go ahead and bring that in, and in the front, that needs to drop into the gasket at the windshield. Okay, we're going to focus on this one right now. This is our center portion that attaches our connecting plate over top of our mounting plate and into the sport bar. In our kit, we're going to have 3 different size turn knobs. The smallest turn knob is going to be used in this location. For the front 2 locations, we're going to use the medium size turn knob, and for the rear locations, we're going to use the longest turn knobs. So before we run this through here, just on the driver's side, we've also got a clip. We're going to run the bolt through there and just get it to where it started. We don't want to tighten it down just yet because we want to line all of our turn knobs up before we tighten any of them down. So here we're going to look straight through, and we're going to see the bottom of this bracket has a weld nut on it, and we're just going to run it all the way through, line it up to that weld nut, and then get started in the threads. Now you may need to move that bracket around a little bit at the bottom, get everything lined up. Once the threads are started, all right, front, just like the second one back, we're going to put that through, line it up to the weld nut, wiggle that bracket around to get everything lined up. All right, now let's move to the back. All right, over our rear door, we're going to use our long turn knobs. Now this one does look like I have to adjust this bracket a little bit. And get this one started. All right, now that's started, let me move to the back. All right, now that this one started, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this one down and then work my way forward, tightening all the turn knobs down. All right, now repeat the exact same steps for the door surround on the passenger side. You just won't have this clip. Okay, here we are directly above the steering wheel on the driver's side. This is where your top clamps down. We're going to put a supplemental clamp for the Voyager top right here. We're going to use these two bolts. These are factory bolts. We're going to take these out with a T40 and then put them back in. In between that, we're going to put this clamp in. So those bolts are just going to go right up through those holes, and this bracket is going to stay in place. Now, this clamp is side specific, so as you can see, it's actually offset to one side. You want that offset to be towards the outside of the vehicle. So when you do this on the passenger side, you want the offset to be to the opposite side. So let's go ahead and take out these two bolts. Again, using a T40. Now this is going to come down when I take out the second bolt. What we're going to do, put the bracket back in place with the bolt and this sandwiched between. All right, repeat the same for the opposite side. Okay, so here's our fabric tarp. I've actually got this laid out upside down. I want to point out we got a couple of zipper pockets. This part right here with the snaps is going to be facing towards the front. In fact, the snaps are going to be over top of your windshield. Now let's go ahead and grab our header assembly and set it on top here. Okay, now you'll notice that on the header assembly, we've got some snap receivers. That's going to line up to the snaps on the tarp. What we're going to do is we're going to slide that in and attach those snaps. When we do that, this bar is going to move forward. This is Velcro on the back side of these pockets. And what we're going to do here is we're going to wrap that Velcro around the bar on both sides. Then we can attach the sides by tucking the stitched in plastic into the frame. Here's our stitched in plastic. We're just going to wrap that around. All right. Now we've got the header assembly installed onto the tarp. We're going to go ahead and flip it over and roll it up from the back towards the front and then set it on top of the Jeep. So here we are up on top of the Gladiator. The fabric and header assembly is on top. We've got the front edge sitting over top of the window gasket, and we've also got it centered side to side. When we did that, this pivot arm right here on the assembly actually lines up to this bracket on our mounting plate that we put up just a little bit ago. So what we're going to do is with this mounting plate, we've got some hardware that needs to come apart. We're going to pull that apart. Now what we're going to do, the hole in that bracket is going to line up to the hole in that pivot arm. We're going to bring that down and then take the hardware that came out and fit it through. And then on the other side, we've got the other piece of hardware, which is a nylock nut that is actually going to nest into the side of the pivot arm. And we're going to get that kind of threaded in place. And once it's connected, we're going to use an included Allen wrench. This is actually included in our kit. We can use this to tighten that together. All we want to do is get it nice and snug. We don't want to over tighten it. Next, what we're going to do is raise this pivot arm up. Now you'll notice this pivot arm can slide side to side, and then that can mount up and line up to this bracket. We're going to do the same thing here. All right, repeat the same thing for the passenger side. Okay, now here is our latch and bracket that we installed earlier. This is the hoop from our header assembly that is going to latch to. So this is super easy to adjust. What we're going to do is rotate that up. You'll see where the hook on the latch reaches to the hoop. Right now, it's not quite there, and as I rotate this, it will move up and down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this all the way out to the fullest extension, and then I'm going to rotate this until it actually grabs a hold of that hoop. All right, now that it's over the hoop, we can go ahead and rotate this over and latch it in place. Do the same on the passenger side. All right, now we're back up on top. We're going to go ahead and start rolling the fabric back towards our sport bar. Now, as we get back, we're going to notice we've got a couple of straps. The straps are going to be fastening to the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to give us a little bit more slack. That way we can wrap around and attach the hook up to the sport bar. So I'm going to hook it on to this hole right here. Then once we're hooked on, we're going to cinch it down. Do that with both sides. And get it nice and snug. Then we can continue rolling it back. Okay, now when we get to the back, our stiffening bar that's already installed inside our tarp is going to lock into the grooves in the back. So what we want to do is kind of stretch it back to those grooves and then rock it into place. Once it gets rocked in place, we want to kind of drop it into the notch at the back. Okay, now while holding this in place, we're going to go ahead and take the strap, and then we'll release the Velcro on the strap. And we want to kind of choke up on this a little bit. That way this can reach down and hook onto the frame of the Jeep. And then we can cinch that down. Repeat the same on the opposite side, and then tuck the strap down between the back seat and the tub. Okay, next what we're going to do is the top portion of this fabric we can peel off of the Velcro. We're just going to fold that forward. And what we're going to see is we've got some buckles up on top of the tarp. Next, what we're going to do is grab our back panels. One side, you're going to have kind of a stiff piece, and the other side, you're going to have Velcro. The stiff piece goes forward, and you want to actually have that kind of lined up to this corner brace. We're going to take our straps, run them over the top, and what we'll do is go ahead and loosely attach the straps. I'm going to go through the back and then into the front. Now we'll cinch these down later and repeat the same on the opposite side. Okay, now we're going to get our rear window. We're going to kind of set that in place right here. You notice we've got a zipper on this side of the rear window and a zipper on the corner piece we just put on. So we're going to go ahead and raise the zipper on the corner piece up to match with the rear window. Slide that all the way into the zipper receiver and zip it down a couple of inches. Repeat the same on the opposite side. Okay, now you're going to notice we've got 3 straps that are on the window. What we want to do is make sure that we center that window to align the straps with the receivers up on the top. So once that is kind of lined up, we're going to go ahead and lift the window up and go ahead and attach it about halfway up on the Velcro. All right, and now we can go ahead and set our corner pieces. All right, now we're going to go ahead and take our stiffening panel in the back. We're going to wrap that around and drop it into this slot right here. Work from the top down to the bottom. And then this piece right here we want to tuck into the belt rail. Work from the front to the back. All right. Repeat the same on the opposite side. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and finish zipping down our rear window on the sides. And as we do that, go ahead and set our Velcro. And once that is zipped down, we're going to go ahead and attach the stiffening strap down to the belt rail. And now we can come up to the top and attach our straps. This is the point where we're going to adjust our Velcro to get the window nice and straight. All right, now we can go ahead and cinch down the straps for our corner pieces. And then we can go ahead and pull this to the back and set that onto the Velcro. Want to make sure it goes back nice and straight. All right, now let's go ahead and pop in the surrounds above the windows. Okay, now we've got a ledge at the top of the door surround, and the tarp, we're going to have a stiffening panel that's in there. We're going to fold that down and lock it into that channel. We can set the Velcro to it, work all the way up to the front. In the front, we only have Velcro. We don't have to fold that in. Repeat the same on the opposite side. Well, that concludes the installation. If you found this video helpful, make sure and give us a thumbs up. If you want to know more about the product, check the link in the description below. And as always, if you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online at RealTruck.com.